With all of the problems General Motors has been having with their 6.2-liter V8s and transmissions, what have they been focused on? Oh, that's right. EV trucks that can crab walk, because that's what I want. So while General Motors has been focused on these little gimmicks, they've still been producing bad valve bodies even in 2025 Silverados. Let's jump into the first story here. It is a 2025 with a dead valve body at less than 1,000 miles. If you're going to buy one of these trucks new, just upgrade the valve body right away. Well, I mean, unless you're getting an EV. So a couple things I want to talk about in this video. One, there's a new TSB from GM. They're actually starting to replace valve bodies, the actual parts inside, because the valve bodies are on back order because there's so many that are dying. So this first story comes in from Kevin yesterday. He says, "Good day, new to the group, owner of a 2025 Silverado 2500. It was less than 1 week old on May 3rd, and it had 836 miles on the clock when the valve body left us stranded in West Virginia. We live in Iowa, but bought the truck. They traded in their 2024 2500 HD, dumb mistake, in North Carolina, close to the family home. Now we are at a loss. We are getting the usual correspondence from General Motors customer service. We just got back from rescuing our stranded travel trailer at the dealership in Beckley. Add another $1,500 onto our out-of-pocket expenses, probably because they had to have this travel trailer kind of unhitched and loaded. So they had to have the truck towed and the travel trailer towed, and they're out of, they're not in their home state. But this proves right here, imagine you're stuck in this situation. Guy's got 836 miles on this truck. This guy's got his sticker here, $75,340 for this truck, and it doesn't even make it 1,000 miles. Now, I know this isn't all of them, and I do have a poll that someone did in Facebook, a couple different polls. This is really interesting. How many is this really happening to? And I know that's a question I get a lot in the comments, and should you trust one? Should you buy one? If you buy one, should you upgrade the valve body right away? Now, obviously, this isn't a definitive poll, but we can't get data from General Motors. They're never going to divulge how, unless they're forced to, like through a recall, they're never really going to tell us how many failures there are. Just like the 6.2-liter V8. Remember when they said there were 38 or 39 investigations, and then a couple weeks later, they come out with this recall, and they say there's 21,000 engines that were actually dead and field reported earlier than that. So they're not going to tell us unless they're forced to, because it causes lawsuits and all sorts of other things. So this is a poll. Bryce McKay says, wondering how many people actually have valve body issues. This was on February 26th, so it's a little dated, but 230 votes, 74% of people say no issues before 100,000. About 16% of people total have issues, so before or after 100,000. That's a pretty high number, in my opinion. So if I bought one of these trucks brand new, I know a lot of people ask this question. If you buy one, when do you do the valve body update? And will it void your warranty? I would do it day one. That's recommended from NextGen, who builds this upgrade kit. I'm going to play a little clip from the video that I had with him, an interview from NextGen Drivetrain Interviews. This guy is a transmission engineer, and they basically solved this problem for General Motors. Here's what they had to say about it.
So what I tell people is that if you want to install these upgrades on day one, what you're doing is you're preventing the majority of these problems from even being able to happen. And people are like, but what about my warranty? There's something called the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act. I'm not a lawyer, but I've been expert witness for cases around lemon law and things like that. So I do have qualifications on the automotive end of things. The standard that courts have that I have seen, go to a lawyer for any actual lawyer advice, but the standard that I have seen applied and the standard that's written about in the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act is that if they cannot demonstrate that a modification you made caused that problem to happen, demonstrate a clear nexus between those two things, they owe you coverage. And the reason this standard exists is because they don't want people getting their warranty voided for, say, their engine because they got a head unit for their radio.
So what he's saying is, yes, there's a chance that GM might try to void maybe your transmission valve body or your transmission warranty if they found out that you upgraded these parts, initially before your warranty's out. Now, if it were me, I guess it depends on what type of a buyer you are. If you're a buyer that's going to buy the new truck and keep it through warranty and get rid of it, trade it by 60,000 miles, I probably wouldn't upgrade it because you're just going through a hassle and more money spend, and you're getting rid of the truck anyway. If you're keeping it past the powertrain warranty, for me, if I bought a new GM with the 10-speed or 8-speed, I'd be upgrading the valve body if I knew I was keeping it that long. That's just me. And I still see issues like this. This is another 2025 Duramax, 10,000 miles on it. They had a transmission leak, and now they're waiting to figure out what is going to happen with GM to advise them what to do to fix it. Just quality issues across the board. You've got quality issues with the build quality. There's another guy on here that had his valve body replaced, and they actually didn't bolt the transmission pan back up all the way. There were bolts that were just hanging out. So you got techs that are either not qualified or disgruntled or just not paying attention. Maybe they're not getting paid enough, and they're just like, this is flat rate labor, and screw it, I'm not going to care about it. I don't know. Now, I'll put a link in the description down to NextGen drivetrain in their valve body upgrade kit. But essentially what General Motors has started doing, this is a TSB from May 2025 for the 10-speed. This, I believe, includes just the 1500, not the 2500, which is interesting because the valve bodies are really similar. But this TSB basically allows technicians to upgrade the check balls. That's right, the check balls. If your check balls are too small, they right size the balls. So I know this is going to get uncomfortable for some of you gentlemen, but just going to have to fight through it. So basically what they're doing is telling technicians, if you find a P2732 code, so they're going to use their co-reader, look at the history. If they've got a P2732 set, they're going to inspect the check balls and the valve body spacer plate. What NextGen's kit includes. NextGen's kit includes the spacer, it includes valves, it includes more upgrades than what they're doing here. However, they are upgrading some parts, and the reason they're doing this is because I think they can't get the entire valve bodies in fast enough. They can't supply their new trucks that they're trying to sell and replace all of the problem trucks they have. So now they're trying to whittle it down to even smaller of what I consider a Band-Aid, which is looking at these check balls and some of the other things like the spacer plate. I just talked to Nate from NextGen. I'm going to have a video on this specific TSB, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully we'll have a video out very soon with Nate's response. And here, see, I wasn't lying. I wasn't trying to be funny. It says the parts section indicates ordering 5 check balls. Replacement of the undersized check balls is all that's required. The extra check balls are included in the event that some are misplaced or damaged during replacement. So yeah, they got to upgrade, get the balls up to the correct specification. So utilizing a pick tool, they're going to remove the undersized check balls from the ball seat and discard them, install the new check ball and the solenoid body, and then they're going to install the new spacer plate. And then they're going to put it all back together, give you new fluid, and send you on your way with all the same valves and everything else that are probably going to cause a problem. Now, what's interesting is a lot of the 24s and the 25s aren't included. But if you look here, this is NextGen's kit, and obviously they've got different valves. They've got O-rings on the valves, and they've got a new separator plate. So different spring. There's a lot of differences between what NextGen's selling for $1,000. You have to either install it yourself or hire someone to install this kit, but it's probably worth it if you're spending like 70 grand on a truck. Like, what's another $1,000 for that peace of mind if you're going to keep it past warranty? So yeah, I don't know. If it was me, I'd be doing this kit. I wouldn't be waiting for General Motors to give me some Band-Aid solution and potentially be stranded. You think about it, you're going to spend, if you're 1,000 miles away from home or you have a trailer or whatever, you're going to spend a lot more than what this kit is. So let me know what you think in the comments. Boy, General Motors, they're so concerned with where EVs are going, and I don't think any of these tariffs or V8s or what anyone else is doing in the industry is going to stop them from moving ahead, kind of full steam ahead with the EV truck thing. But I wish they would focus on like getting the products that used to be really simple to build, valve bodies, little simple things that used to just work in V8s and valve bodies and transmissions. Like, just get everything at least making it through warranty, GM. Come on, take care of your customers. stop funneling all your resources into new vehicles and maybe start taking care of these customers that are waiting months at dealerships to get either new valve bodies, new transmissions, or whatever else it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.